But my conclusion is that it's really just wealth is the problem. I mean, this is just a pretty straightforward Christian story. It corrupts. Too much money corrupts you. And if you have a class with too much money for too long, or a family with too much money for too long, it becomes corrupt and contemptible and decadent in its attitudes, and ultimately dishonest and indefensible and like incapable of defending itself. And then it falls. Like this is of course the cycle. And I just happened, by virtue of the fact of I was born in 1969, to kind of be there at maturity for the end of this cycle. And I didn't recognize it as such when I first noticed something was going on. I didn't really know what it was, but I have come to believe that the more money you have, the more likely you are to be deluded. Certainly, the more you worship money, the more certainly you are deluded. It's the same trifecta. It's money, power, sex. These are the things that destroy people, that rot your soul. And the more freely available they are, and the more you worship them, like the more likely you are to serve evil. So at a certain point, that becomes a class distinction. So the people
Right.
who are just rolling in money from 11 or 12 years of zero interest rates after the subprime crisis, after
Right.
the mortgage crisis in 08, there's trillions of dollars printed, and it wound up clustering around, small groups of people. And those people became crazy and evil as a result of it. I mean, I think it's a much more complicated story than that, but those are its outlines. And those are its essential outlines. You pour trillions of dollars into a country unearned. And what do you think? Just noting that people who worship money are evil. And I don't, that may have been maybe a common observation in Europe. It's never observed here. And I've just seen it up close a lot. You shouldn't worship money. It's not bad to be rich, but if that's the center of your life, then it's super,
Yeah.
super bad. And all the kind of attendant problems with that, like in a democracy, that doesn't work. It doesn't work because
Yeah.
you're out of step with the majority of the population. It's inherently anti-democratic. If you're in charge of the country, like the charter is, your mandate is like represent the bulk of the population, the majority of the people. Like this is their country. They own it. You don't. You're the representative. And wealth allows you to ignore what's actually happening in your country, but it also insulates you to such an extent you might not notice